and we welcome the light that has been shining on the judiciary now. We welcome the more open transparency and accountability that your administration has brought to the courts. One of the biggest stumbling blocks, I believe, to your sitting in the court is the issue of accountability of judges. And my question really pertains to that matter of accountability. Basically, my question is, how do you intend to address this issue of accountability of judges in light of the fact that we have an existing Supreme Court decision, the Maceda versus Vasquez case, which says that the Ombudsman cannot investigate or prosecute judges unless and until they have been administratively investigated by the court. Considering that we have that decision and until it is modified, we will have to live with it, one of the questions in my mind is, how does the court intend to address and improve on the image of accountability of judges?
Thank you, Dean Diokno. That is actually a question I am presently grappling with. Now, I saw that the budget of the judiciary does not contain any confidential or intelligence fund. And when I thought about how a hard investigation, not a paper-based investigation, can be genuinely commenced in the court, I had to face the question of whether the judiciary is the best institution to undertake that, or we should rather delegate it, or refer it, or endorse it to bodies that are specially set up to conduct investigations that will allow things like investigation of bank accounts, surveillance, even the conduct of entrapment operations. We don't have the kind of anti-fraud units that robust anti-corruption programs usually have. So, I am faced now with the dilemma of whether to propose to the NBank the creation of such a unit within the court, but that will carry with it its own complications. Because to run an investigating arm, a hard-nosed investigating arm, is different from our core competencies, which is really adjudication. The other is to arrive at an agreement, either with the Ombudsman or with the Department of Justice, by creating a special unit within the National Bureau of Investigation that will investigate judges. Because our experience is that, and Justice Lagman is here to attest to it, which is now the highest-ranking member of the regular members of the JBC, of the Executive Committee of the JBC. Our requests for investigation do not get prioritized in the National Bureau of Investigation. And we cannot blame them if they do not prioritize a request, for example, for them to investigate claims made by applicants to judicial positions. They have a lot more things to investigate. But if we can reach an agreement with either of these two bodies for them to do it in a way that will allow us to really run after allegations of corruption for them and then submit it to us in our adjudicative capacities already as part of our disciplinary process, maybe that would work. I was discussing with the Chief Justice of Singapore earlier because I had just come from the first meeting of the ASEAN Chief Justices, and they were saying that the investigations into judicial misconduct that is apart from adjudication is done by a centralized government agency specifically tasked to run after corruption. Now, that idea either will require a lot of discussion with my colleagues in the NBank, but be assured that I want evidence-based investigations and adjudication of administrative complaints against judges to really commence. Why? It is not healthy for a judiciary to have floating accounts or stories about corruption when I don't get any affidavit before me that says that I witnessed firsthand that Judge X received Y amount of money. That is not the kind of affidavits that you see in our administrative investigative processes. But that is the kind of evidence that will send a chilling effect, in fact, an inhibitive effect on those who are trying to believe, or those who are starting to believe, that they can gain money from the system. We sorely need that. We need to find a solution. And you can be assured, I'm thinking about it, and if you can help me together with the rest of the legal academe to create a path acceptable to the judiciary, because it is fully respective of its independence as a third branch, we are more than willing to listen to how we can solve that. And I thank you, because that is an important concern. And we cannot prove our mettle until we are able to discipline our judges correctly. But Dean Diokno, if you might have noticed, we have been really running after erring judges and members of the bar recently. And you could see that in the recent decisions we have been issuing. We intend to crack down really on the wayward ones.
Thank you, ma'am. Dean Diokno, your follow-up.
That you have our full support from the De La Salle University.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean. The next one to ask a question will be Ms. Lucy Cruz Valdez of TV5.
Good afternoon, Madam CJ. First of all, we want to thank you for this press conference, because it is obviously a departure from your earlier